Hello, good people of the internet. I have a video solution for you today, and I'm going to try and keep it quick, but I do like to sort of go on, so it might go on longer than expected. But I want to talk about manually assigning MIDI CC messages to various controllers and stuff like that into Ableton Live, because basically the native kind of MIDI mapping service that's built into Ableton Live works really well most of the time. So for example, if I've got this controller here and I want to assign that X knob there to be on this controller, all I need to do is click it in MIDI mapping mode, and there we go. Channel 1, CC message 19. No problem there. You'll see that now works. I can bring that in with some erosion. If for example, I want to have something on Y, let's do that. So let's do that. Let's make that Y, and let's make this one Z. So there we go. I've got 3 controllers set up, and I've got erosion on here. I've got spectral resonator on here, and then I've got some hybrid reverb on there. I do love the hybrid reverb, I have to say. So, that's perfect. What's the problem? Well, the problem is if you're using a controller that isn't something kind of more conventional like this. For example, if you're using a controller that might have multiple CCs at once, so you might have like an XY controller like this, and when you move both those CCs coming in, you'll see that it's fighting in Ableton. It's going 19, 23, 19, 23, and there's no way to grab both of them. I would love it if you could grab both of them. For example, maybe I've got 4 coming in at once. So I do a lot of virtual reality stuff, and I'm using this app called Virtuoso at the moment. And in that app, there's a box, like a 3D box that you can make. So imagine you're in VR like this, you've got your headset on, and you've got your hand in the box. When you move your hand around in that box, in that app, you can change the MIDI channel, but you can't tell it which CCs you want to come out. And you also can't disable CCs. So I had 4 messages coming in at once, and even if you hold it still, it's very hard to not get all 4 messages at once. So imagine it's doing this, yeah, and it's going mental, and you're swearing at it because it's just not working, and you're like, I just want to get CC 19, right? And it's impossible. Well, I started having a look around, and I've had this problem before when I think when I tried to map like a Wii controller ages ago, and I thought there must be a solution by now. So I went on the internet, as you do. I asked on Reddit. A few of you did respond, so I appreciate that. Thanks very much. But no one really had a solid answer as to how you could do it. I messaged Ableton Live support. They got back to me and basically said, you can't do it. I was like, I know you can't, but I was wondering if you had a method. They just said you could try like a MIDI filtering software or something, but we don't actually have a method for doing this manually. I then went onto YouTube, and I remembered there's a pretty good Tom Cosm video, which he made back on the 18th of September, 2010. So it's a pretty old video, right? But it still works today. And there's nothing wrong with this method. It does work really well. But I didn't really like the way his method works is that you would create like a MIDI dummy clip like this. And I'm not going to show you all of it, but basically you'd create a MIDI dummy clip like this. And this one's set up on controller 19, you can see. And then what the idea is that you would launch that MIDI clip. And the way Tom did it was quite clever. He had like another clip that would launch it after 4 bars or something, so that you had a bit of chance. What you would do is you would launch the dummy clip like this. That would then, after 4 bars, launch this clip that has the CC in it. And then you would in that time, you would have jumped into your MIDI mapping, and you would have sent that message out of Ableton and back in, and then grab the controller that way. So that does work, but it comes with its own set of problems that sometimes you might overload your system. Well, not really overload it, but you might, the virtual driver that I use is called Loop B. And it was moaning at me occasionally because I was sending a message out and in within the same program. So you might come up with problems like that. But also it's just a bit of a pain because when you're in this view and you go into MIDI mapping, you can't launch clips. So if you want to do like 20 different controllers or something like that, you're in and out, and you're going to make all these dummy clips. And it does work, but it's a bit of a pain. So what I started to do was Google some more, and I was just about to give up. And then I stumbled onto this website here, midiox.com. And I found this pretty old school looking app, and I thought, is this what I want? And I looked down and I looked at the news, and I was like, wow, this is even older. Well, the last news item on here is January 2011, where it's had an update, which is nice. But once you download this, and by the way, this is free, but it seems to be operating on that kind of premise that if you're going to use this commercially and make some money out of it, or if you just appreciate it, you can send them a donation. Like I don't know if there's still someone on the receiving end of this, but presumably someone spent a bit of time making this. So, if you find it useful, maybe consider donating to them. Once you open up this app, and what I'll do is I'll just bring Ableton back up as well. But I'm going to put Ableton on to half screen like that. So once you get into MIDI OX, you'll open it up and there's quite a lot of options in here, and I don't think I understand or need any of the things in here really, but I firstly went to MIDI devices, and when I looked in here I thought, okay, this looks promising. So basically this is all of my MIDI outputs that I've got on the computer, and I've got a bunch because I do lots of weird MIDI mapping. It's kind of something I quite like to do. I want to get rid of that one. So the only one I need is the Loop B internal MIDI, but you can use whatever virtual MIDI driver you've got installed. I think this is Windows only, so if you're using Mac, you'll probably need to find a different solution, or maybe use Tom Cosm's solution. There might even be a better one now. But basically you select your virtual driver, and then if you come over here to view control panel, this was where I saw it and I went, okay, this is probably what I want. So if I go back to my channel, sorry, I'm getting myself a little bit lost here. So if I select it there, right, and if you imagine we are using our controller again, so this one here, CC19, yeah? So I've done that by touching the controller, but what I can do is I can do this manually by selecting it here. So CC19, channel 1, we want channel 1, yeah? As long as I've got that X thing selected, like I would if I was doing it on the physical controller, once you've selected that, just press send once. And then as you can see now, if you look at the bottom left part of Ableton, you'll see it's assigned it 119. And we can go along and we can do this for all of them. So you've obviously got to know your CC numbers, but hopefully there's a way of you finding that out. And then I'll just do the final one as well, which was 27, I think. Yeah, so I'm going to send that as well. And then without touching my MIDI controller yet, I've now assigned, I've got something on the X, I've got something on the Y, and I've got something on the Z. So easy as that. We've done some manually mapped MIDI in a really sort of clean and easy to use way. I'm going to be using this a lot, I think, over the coming months, because I'm really starting to get involved a lot in using virtual reality for controlling Ableton Live and stuff like that. But yeah, that's all I wanted to tell you really. Normally my videos are about music making in VR, but I do some Ableton stuff. So if you like the look of it, the channel, then maybe consider giving it a like and a subscribe, but don't feel obliged, you know. I won't cry if you don't. So hopefully that video helped you, and if not, oh well. See you later. Thanks. Bye.